Smash that limiter!
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to episode 44, Life Drama. And I just realized the background isn't playing yet. Haha. More drama.
More scuff.
More stuff. Anyway. Let that just play in the background, just so then that way you don't get the reflection of the screen and all the lights and shit on it. So, drama is always happening around the corner, isn't it, Spliffy?
Yeah, and we could all use less drama.
I know, right? Why are you spelling it drana? What drama? All sorts of dramas, Ray. If you just look online, there's dramas with some YouTube realities, which we're not going to go into. There's dramas at the Olympics. Have you seen the breakdancing drama?
No, not necessarily.
Oh,
I don't
it's so
really,
funny.
I don't really go looking for drama.
It's not.
admittedly.
It's the terrible breakdance. Okay, so it's not really drama. It's there's an Australian representative who's a breakdancer and they suck. They were literally hopping like a kangaroo in their thing. Like, you know, they're like their hands up like that and hopping. it was pathetic. And then of course, like, you know, like you go through life and you go start your car and your car doesn't start, you know, the battery's dead and you're late for work and all that sort of shit. And yeah, life is without drama. Life is with drama, I should say, not without, because it's always got drama
Life
of some
just
sort.
is.
It is drama. Just being born is dramatic. So, you probably noticed as well, Spliffy, I'm very red in the face.
Yes.
You know
You
why
are very
I'm red in the face? You know what I've been doing this morning?
You've been doing gardening, right?
I have been doing gardening. I think I need a whippersnipper because I don't own a lawnmower or whippersnipper. I've the backyard
You need
doesn't.
one or the other.
Well, I can't use a lawnmower because it's all gravel in the backyard, so it would kind of flick rocks everywhere.
Oh, with the
Yeah.
snipper it is then.
Yeah, exactly. Or pay for a gardener, but that's
No.
expensive. That's so expensive.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. So I'll need to get a ripper snip eventually because I had to pull all the reeds and grass out by hand. That
I mean,
sucks.
If you just invest in products that makes tasks go faster, that's the direction you should be going
Yeah.
with when you purchase things.
Yeah, well, I would like a ripper snipper. I'd like an
Would you
electric
go
one.
with electric or petrol?
Electric, yeah. I like. Don't get me wrong, 2-strokes work, but like I find electric are way more reliable, like battery operated ones.
Right.
Like a Makita or actually I really want the Ego because the Ego's one, the battery lasts ages, and two, it's like very balanced well, and it's just a better product than the Makita one. Get your money worth out of it. The Makita one's good, but like you go through batteries pretty quick, so I would have to like use all 2 batteries just to do my very small. It's not actually a small backyard, but yeah. It would I still need something anyway, that's for sure. Because doing it by hand it took me like an hour and a half. I mean, it wasn't so bad because I was like doing washing while doing it all, but yeah.
Right.
And I bathed the dog as well. She was not happy about it.
Yeah.
But
Why
yeah.
aren't dogs
I
happy about being bathed?
I
don't
don't
understand.
know. They get so miserable as well, and it's like, come on, you jump in the ocean or you jump in like the river, or you know, like you love the rain, but yet like you get washed and you just hate life. But the thing
I've never understood that.
I don't get dogs. Dogs are weird. Like dogs don't like you blowing in their face, but yet they're quite happy to have their head out the window.
Yeah.
Like it's,
No, I don't get it. I really don't.
I don't
understand
either.
their mind at all.
But yeah. Oh, so something interesting in the automotive world sort of was brought to my attention in the
Right.
past week. So the government apparently is doing some incentive to new apprentices who sign up to do shut up, Ray. Some some incentive for apprentices to be qualified in EV cars at the end of their apprenticeship. So like automotive as well as they get the EV tick.
Right.
But the weird thing about it is it doesn't apply for who shut up, Minty. It doesn't apply for like new like apprentices that are currently in, but they get like all this money extra and stuff like that, and the businesses that have them get paid all this extra funding as well just to have them, which is pretty crazy. But yeah,
What, Ray? All right. What?
I'm sorry, but the dog that is dramatic for the dog. I mean, getting bathed. She's gonna have some PTSD tonight about it. She'll wake up shivering. But yeah, so that's pretty interesting. They're trying to encourage sort of EV qualifications. But
yeah, I think it would be the only real incentive, or the only real way to actually get things done in the automotive industry and integrate. It's the only way that's you're going to be able to really integrate electric vehicles in the automotive industry
yeah,
and get people to drive them, is if they can have them fixed.
the thing is any basic auto electrician can work on an EV car. It's not that complicated.
New
but
technology.
the thing is, though, part of the requirements of working on EV, you have to have the that fiberglass body recovery hook, which I have noticed a lot of mechanics that work on EVs don't have that. It's actually a requirement to have one.
The fiberglass what
The body recovery hook.
a body recovery hook.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's literally a fiberglass hook that allows someone who is trapped inside a vehicle, an EV vehicle that's been electrocuted, to allow someone to pull the body out of the car, so then that way they don't get electrocuted.
That's
yeah,
a little bit frightening.
Oh yeah, well, like if you were to like not break the circuit for the battery to the car, and you were to work on the car, and you were to get electrocuted, it will fry you. Like it'll be just like working on a power line. The amount of volts that come from that battery is ridiculous. It's not like a 12 volt. I mean, it's 12 volts that runs through the car, but the battery itself is way more than 12 volts. It's like high electricity. Circuit breaker's huge too. Like usually the handle's like that thick and like that long, and when you clunk it, like you really hear it disengage. Like it's like 100 and something amp fucking breaker. It's huge. Oh, will you now, Ray? You're gonna destroy our
Not
homes.
even that dramatic, Maury.
Actually,
Minty.
we have discovered a game thanks to Ray, haven't we, Spliffy?
We have. I've been thoroughly enjoying it last night and today.
So we found a game. Well, actually, we didn't find it. Ray found a game called. The title is clickbait. All right, leave me alone. The game is called Once Human, and it's free to play, and you pretty much, it's like a survival game, and you go around and just do shit and build stuff and kill things and complete quests. But the cool thing about it is the PvE servers are like really fun in the way they're sort of balanced it out. It's not like Ark or any of the other games like Rust or any of them where it's PvE, but like people can stop you from building in locations, and like it's just way better, I think. And it's a good time sink game. Isn't it, Spliffy?
Yes, it is. There's a lot to do, but not overwhelming, which I always found open world games extremely overwhelming, just because there's just too much to do. But this game seems to have a really nice balance.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I prefer this game over Ark any day of the week. Really.
I never played Ark. I never got into it. I knew I wouldn't like it.
Nah, it's good, but like it's And then they bought out Arc Extended, and I was just like, why are you paying money for the same thing with better graphics? And they actually fixed the things we asked to fix years ago, but they never did. Instead, they brought a new game out with it. So I don't like that. I also don't like the whole drama with the CEO of Wildcard as well, how he tried starting up an EV business and then lost all the money that he made off of Arc and that other game they made as well. So all the game money that he spent to try and start up this EV car manufacturing company, and it just flopped. And because of that, they make another game which is exactly like Arc, but they just call it Ascended. They just up the graphics and all that sort of shit. And it's like, why are you guys giving this dickhead money? Like, don't. Okay, yeah, I know the devs and all that like work really hard and they're really good at what they do, but nah, fuck them. I wouldn't give them money. But that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Why did it get so dark? So I'm just playing on the lighting. Yeah, it's weird. I'm like literally next to a shining blue beacon, and yet my lighting's all kind of whacked.
Oh well.
Yeah. I listened to an interesting podcast while I was gardening this morning, so I think that I was pointed on to my friend. It was a podcast. I can call out the name of it. It was really, really interesting. I highly recommend those around us to take a listen. It's on Spotify. It's called Safe Space. What is it like to be addicted to ice? And basically this friend of mine's mum was on it and was talking about like how she became an addict and what she did to get over the addiction, which wasn't like your conventional way of like, oh, I'm gonna one day I wake up and I'm giving up, I'm gonna fight hard and do it. It was like kind of, it worked out better for her because she ended up just getting a job of all things. So she got a job in caseworking, trying to help addicts get away from addiction, like recover from the addiction. And that job is what that in combination of other things, which I don't want to spoil it, but it ended up making her move on and staying away for, she's like 7 years now sober. And like just talking about the difference between being on methamphetamines versus like heroin and all the speed and all the other drugs that are around, and how much worse it is. Because she was saying like all the other drugs, like when you come down, you're shitty and whatnot, but you can kind of stop and then kind of go back to it, and you could just stop completely and go onto a different drug and just never touch it again. Like, but she said, but methamphetamine, when you're on it and then like it's great at first and then it just slowly, that's all you think of, and you cannot get off it easily. No matter what you do, you just will always end up being. It was just really, really interesting about the life that she had, and how it affected her children. And she was lucky that she had parents that supported her, so to make sure her children didn't basically go without. Although they did, but like, you know, very, very interesting way of looking at it. Because me personally, the people that I knew that sort of became addicts were just shitty people to begin with, so I had no sympathy for them. Whereas she wasn't a shitty person, she just made shitty choices, which happens, and I just don't personally have never really met any, but like that bad, that get that deep in the rabbit hole. Obviously I know he's people that have taken drugs and stuff, but they've never gone down the rabbit hole. That were decent people anyway. But yeah, it was just a really eye-opening sort of podcast. I highly recommend people out there to check it out. It gives you a different perspective of things, that's for sure. So that's some drama for you. Why did you get quiet, Swiffy? This is really awkward.
No, I'm just trying to think.
What do you mean?
I'm just thinking. That's all.
I can send it to you if you want. Seriously, you should listen to it.
Okay. No, that's all right. You don't have to.
All right. Yeah. So what else has been going on? What?
Heard any good music lately?
No, not really. What about yourself? Is there any new albums or anything like that being released?
Not that I've been keeping track.
Fair enough. Apparently, Ray would know this. What's the band that's traveling around that's really expensive, Ray? Is it Rage Against the Machine? No, it's not. It's... Who the fuck is it?
Sum 41.
No, not Sum 40. Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden's
Maiden.
touring Australia. It's like $200 a ticket or something like that too.
That's a pretty standard
Why? Why is it so expensive?
because they're coming to Australia. Getting
Yeah, I know.
the logistical nightmare of getting from America
Yeah,
or
but
Europe to
they-
Australia is unbelievable.
Yeah, but they also have their own plane, which I guess will save them some money.
It doesn't really offset that much. You
No, I
literally
suppose.
they may have their own plane, but they still need to purchase the fuel. They still need to get all the logistics team.
Because
They still need to basically get all their audio equipment and all their lighting equipment from.
usually bands,
there.
they don't really make much money on the actual touring. It's the getting back in the public eye and then the sales of their records and shit. That's what makes them money, isn't it, normally?
There's no real yes or no. Touring is usually it's kind of like a marketing campaign, if you will.
Yeah.
That's usually what touring is. But because Iron Maiden's just they don't really need to do marketing anymore because they've released so many albums that they just go around playing various songs that they've written over the years.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they do. So their main core business is just playing live. Like a lot of bands that are about the same age as Iron Maiden.
Fair enough. Because, yeah,
And,
I just always thought it was mainly the getting back in the spotlight that sort of made them money. Because I know that some of those bands, like early, especially like the ones that came out in like the 70s and the 80s, that would like tour around the world pretty much continuously. It would be like one tour after another. A lot of them went under and lost all their money because they were going on too many tours. Because it is, like you said, it's really
it's
freaking
unbelievably
expensive. Yeah, and a lot of the time they don't actually make much money on it anyway. Like I heard back in the early days, Metallica were pretty much not being paid. Like the band they weren't getting any money from the tours at all. The only people that were getting the money were obviously the workers to make it happen. But the band, like members themselves, they got nothing from it. But it paid off for them because obviously, you know, they're huge now. But
Metallica actually has an album, not an album, a documentary from I think 2010. I think is when they released it. Thereabouts. That actually discusses their early years, and they had this. It was they had this thing called it was just a piece of bologna.
Yeah.
And they call that loser's lunch.
Losers'
That's
lunch.
literally all they could afford. And they would just basically have multiple bands in like a run-down building just living there because they just couldn't afford anything.
Yeah.
It was, the big four. It was Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax that were all, they'd all play live shows together all the time. And James Hetfield would make mention that they just play live until they were exhausted and dropped to the floor.
Yeah, that would be crazy doing that shit.
It would be. It's not a lifestyle that everyone can actually handle. A lot of people want the end result of the lifestyle, but actually being a rock star just does not sound like fun at all.
Nah, and like I can understand as well why a lot of them turn to drugs and that to keep going, because like to have the stamina to be able to just keep going one after the other after the other after the other, because like people forget when they're on tour, they're not just doing the concerts, but they're also doing interviews. They're doing media work, and they're doing promotion. Signing, all that sort of stuff. So like they never really have any downtime at all. Yeah. So that's why a lot of them just kept staying on the drugs and alcohol, because it was the only thing really to keep them going. because like they didn't sleep, so they just smashed it through. But yeah, I couldn't be a rock star. I couldn't even be a film star, to be honest.
No.
I would hate it. Like, it just. I mean, I guess actors, in a sense, when they're doing a show, they do the whole media circus. They'll, do all the recording and the shoots and all that sort of stuff. Get that smashed out for whatever they're doing, and then they go the publicity runs and they start promoting interviews, all that sort of stuff. And then once all that's finished, then obviously you got the grand screening, and then you got all that, and then after that you then have to wait until the movie awards and ceremonies, see if you get nominated or whatnot, and then that's done, and then you're on to your next project, and it's just all over again, really. And then you always have to continuously like hunt for work as well. Would be a pain in the ass. I mean, yeah, you got agents to do that for you, but still.
Yeah, but you have to pay them. And
Yeah.
You also have to come up with the funds to hire an agent.
Exactly.
To begin with, so in the beginning, it really is all up to you.
Yeah, and it's very expensive as well, because like everything's obviously in Hollywood, and we all know what it's like there and how expensive it is to live there and shit. So it would suck. It would really, really suck, I think.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of something and then I just bloody forgotten it, didn't I? The fuck was I thinking of? Oh, Keanu Reeves. Yeah, so the movie, I think it was called Speed, that he started?
Yeah, the bus.
In the early days?
From the
yeah.
movie about the bus.
Yeah.
1990s.
Yeah. So obviously that was a big hit with him, right?
Yes.
And they came out with Speed 2, and they sent him the script, and he turned around and said, "This is a piece of shit, and I refuse to even be on it and have put my name on it." Fox blacklisted him for doing that.
Probably did him a favor.
It did, because so they tried calling up all other networks and whatnot to say, like, don't hire him. He's terrible to work with, and they made all of his beers. It's Keanu Reeves, everyone loves him. And anyway, and at the time, The Matrix was being casted, and Sandra Bullock, I think it was Sandra Bullock, was supposed to be on it, but then she ended up like saying no, and then Keanu Reeves ended up signing the deal with Sony, and so the blacklisting and the attempted cancelling from Fox ended up making him one of the biggest names in the world.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Oh, what a backfire that was.
It's weird how things turn out sometimes. You think that your life's about to end, but it keeps going, and actually, life never really stops. It's actually quite good in that regard.
But it's really weird, because I find that the more drama in this day and age with any celebrity, I find it actually ends up making them more famous and gives them more money. Even if they do something really bad or really stupid, it's just weird. I've just noticed that they end up becoming more famous. A big example of that is that stupid fucking Catch Me Outside chick on Dr. Phil. Like, she's famous because she's an idiot.
I never really paid too much attention to that person.
Nah, neither did I really, but she's built like an empire now, and she's quite wealthy, all because she caused drama on Dr. Phil. And for some reason, in this day and age, when people do stupid shit, I don't know, people just start throwing money at them. It's weird. Like, look
not
at
everyone. It really depends on whether the world is optimistic or pessimistic to you. Whether you look at the world in an optimistic or pessimistic light.
I don't know. I just think generally they just do well. Like, people with a lot of negative drama just end up doing really well. I don't know why, but they just do it. Like, look at the Logan brothers. They're continuously in the spotlight, and yet they're always doing really well. So, whether they deserve it or not doesn't matter, but yeah.
And just pay no attention to it and just keep going on with whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, but it's just interesting how times have changed. That's what I'm getting at. Like back then, like I guess with the social media and all that sort of stuff, it's a lot easier to spread it. But back in the day, like the only way you get your information is through media outlets on TV, which
My day.
back in my day, um, were like, so the only way you could get it is news articles that you can get information, but now you can get it directly from like the source on YouTube, people recording it, all sorts of stuff, and so it's just easily more accessible to everybody. Even Mr. Joe Bumpkin in the middle of nowhere can even see it. So yeah, it's just life is fueled by drama.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but it's finally warming up now. You notice that?
I have, yes.
Yes, and I'm loving it.
I'm not freezing to death anymore.
No, well, I can wear shorts. I'm in shorts right now because it's just nice and comfortable. I'm usually a shorts
that's fair.
guy. All through my all through my childhood, I was always wearing shorts. It'd be like freezing cold. There'd be ice everywhere. I'd be in shorts. Nowadays, I'm a
Oh,
little bit.
you were that one.
Yeah, yeah, I was that
I
one.
was the opposite. I'd be wearing long pants and a jumper no matter how hot it got.
Yeah. How could you do that and not die?
Like,
I'd like see kids in 40-degree day with like long, thick cargo shorts and jumpers on. I'm like, how are you not dying?
That's how I used to do. That's what I used to do all the time.
See, my brothers would always wear pants because shorts wasn't cool for school.
I just don't like shorts.
Yeah, I suppose. But I don't know. I find pants to be really constrictive sometimes. That's why now I
Wear
buy a
loose
lot back.
pants.
Yeah, well, there wasn't really much options really when you're growing up. I don't know. I was always in between sizes. And I always had
Right.
hand-me-downs. Well, not necessarily hand-me-downs, but most of the time I got hand-me-downs. Like from op shops and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no point buying new clothes for kids when they just grow out of it like within a couple of weeks. So, but it's weird because I was always such a small little kid too. I was always so tiny. What about you? Were you like small or not really?
Yeah, I was a pretty short kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I need to change the background because, like, look what it's doing to the background.
Oh yeah, it's
Let's just do that one. It's like this camera's terrible at focusing in. If there's too much light in the background, it will like darken it. And it's just...
that's how cameras work.
One day I'll get a better one. When it could be stuffed.
I don't think it comes down to the camera. I think most cameras. I'm pretty sure most cameras do that. I don't know if you can get a
Yeah, but I
backlight
can't.
compensating.
I can't control the I can't control it. That's the thing.
Right.
Like I can't control it within settings like you can like I think that's the reason why a lot of like podcasters and streamers use DLSS cameras.
DLSR.
Whatever. Fucked that up, didn't I? Yeah, they use like actual cameras for like with camcorders, and they just have that adapter so they can plug it directly into the power, so it's always running. And they just use them as a webcam because you can change the settings to make the focus a bit better, and they're better at light, to be honest, as well. Which is
Pretty sure you can change the lens out in those, which completely changes how the camera reacts to light, which can be beneficial. And I'm also pretty sure that if you've got a DSLR camera, you've probably got 4 light control with you've probably got like a hollow light shining on your face to control the balance between the 4 light and the backlight, so that you don't have that darkening issue.
Yeah, because I would love to have a digital camera, like like an actual recording camera,
right?
but even they've come up in price. Like, because DSLRs have always been expensive. Like, to
Always,
get a
and they always will
get
be.
a good one, they've always been $1,000 plus. Like, because okay, like the camera you could probably get for 800, but then you need a lens, so it ends up being over
Yeah.
1,000 anyway.
Yeah.
And then you need a carry bag, and then you need a charger and all that sort of stuff.
Well, it depends on, like, are you planning on carrying it anywhere?
Well, I would always recommend getting a carry bag because if you take it away on trips and stuff like that, you want it to be protected. Plus,
Right.
also helps with carrying memory cards, batteries, extra lenses when you decide to buy more. Yeah, like, the little bag, because
Yeah.
usually when you buy the camera,
Well,
it doesn't come with one.
What about
So
what about a Pelican case? Pelican case might do you just fine.
what the fuck is a Pelican case?
The Pelican case is like a really hard plastic briefcase, but it's filled with foam that you can pick and shape.
I have one of them.
And yeah, I think one of those would probably be better for you than a carry bag because they're waterproof to a certain extent as well.
Yeah, I actually have. Oh, yeah, you can see that example there with the camera and all the lenses in it. I actually have this one here. Although back when I bought it at Bunnings, because Bunnings was
Yeah.
selling them, it was like $60. I still think Temu's a scam, eh? Like,
Yeah, I don't buy anything.
I don't trust Temu. I think it's very scammy. And I know they do sell you information too, like credit cards and shit, apparently. So I wouldn't trust them. But yeah, so I bought that case. See, back in high school, we used to like do a lot of LAN parties with our consoles, so Xbox.
Yeah.
And so I bought that so I can have the Xbox and have it traveling safe, like on the school bus and stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I still have it, but these days I just keep just random miscellaneous shit in it. Which I did have my paperwork in it, but I took it all out. But yeah, it's really handy. For sure. I still use it like to move the Xbox around. When I moved house, I packed up the Xbox Series X in it. Because the foam sets like little tiny cubes and you can like shape it to the way you want it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
mine was shaped perfectly to the Xbox One S. So actually no, it was perfectly shaped to this Xbox One before the S came out. So yeah. Good little bit of investment that kit was.
Yeah, because they are a bit pricey, but they're worth it because
Yeah.
you buy it's I think they're like actually let me have a look. Cellular J car Pelican cases. They average probably around $80 to $100. They do go up and down. Like, they are more expensive than $100, but they're also cheaper than $100. But on average, they're about $100. But you might have a several $1,000 piece of equipment in there, and that just makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. They're handy, and like if you own a drone, I think they're great for that as well. For like traveling drones. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to have a drone. We had this week. We had a YouTuber. Well, he's not a YouTuber as per like his job. He's got a pretty big following though.
Yeah.
He came in for service on his car and to fit something that went wrong with his car. Anyway,
Right.
he had a drone, and some of the footage that he was doing of like fishing spots and stuff like that. Oh, mate, it's stunning what you can get out of drone footage.
Right.
Like he's driving along and he's going through like the sand dunes and stuff, and the drone's like following him, and you can see it, and he's got all on his video, and it just looks so nice because like the drone can pan around and do a full panoramic sort of turn.
Makes sense.
And like because it's so smooth the way it does it, like just truly amazes me, the technology. Like it used to be that the only way you could get that sort of tech was if in the film industry, when they spend like millions of dollars on those film crew drones, but now it's like you can just spend $1,000 and get it yourself. Like not that cheap shit. Like I'm talking about like DJI Mavericks and all that sort of stuff. Like it's really cool what you can do with them, and how far they can go as well is pretty cool. Like they got really good range, better than RC planes.
wonder if they'll ever integrate that sort of technology so they'll have better RC planes, or whether
They
they
have,
just
yeah,
bother.
yeah, yeah. They have a lot of those race drones and that have better radio senders and stuff that they didn't beforehand, and they have better batteries. They got better motors. The motors are like crazy. That's why you can get
yeah.
RC planes that can travel like 300 kilometers per hour now. I think the world record was like 398 or something,
Far out.
nearly 400 k's.
I'm
Which,
surprised it's able to actually hold together at that point.
yeah, well, that's it. The way it flies, because it's a conical cone on it, so it vertically takes up and then it pivots forward like that, and it goes that way. And the reason for that is aerodynamics, because you got to think of relativity. Like, okay, a plane like a fighter jet can go Mach 1, right?
Yeah.
But an RC plane can't. And the reason why is because it's so small that if it was getting up to that speeds, the pressure from the air alone would just disintegrate it, because it's not strong enough to handle that kind of friction, resistance, and speed. So,
Wonder if
yeah.
I wonder if the surface area of the propeller, whether it be the thruster propeller or the or just regular traditional propellers, there's not enough surface area on those propellers to be able to move the air fast enough to actually get
Yeah,
those
the
speeds that it would need.
yeah, exactly. And the only RC like planes that I've known that have gotten pretty quick are jets. Like they're turbine engines. They're the only ones that I know of that can get up to those ridiculous speeds. There's quite a few propeller ones, but like you said, they have a limit. But I've seen one person try, like it was on YouTube, and it was a half scale plane that was designed to try and get as close to sound barrier as possible for an RC. And once he got to like, I reckon it was like 400 knots out from the sound barrier, breaking the sound barrier. Once he got like to that point, it literally disintegrated. Like piece of it just came off, and once that piece came off, it just blew up. And bits of it just went everywhere.
You would have to have like a very specific manufacturing techniques to actually make it resistant to the air pressure.
You would essentially have to make it a solid piece of material to have weight and solidness behind it, because most RC craft are usually like they're made out of like an aluminium frame or some sort of metal frame, and then they're skinned, usually in like a very thin sheet metal, or sometimes like a fabric, like some sort of like fabric, or some very light material.
You have to be light but durable, obviously. So like a canvas, like a waxed canvas.
No, not something like that. I'm more thinking of more like a poly sort of material, like a plastic sort of thin sheet material, which obviously doesn't hold up to resistance or heat, even because you're also thinking heat as well.
I'm curious.
Because it's smaller surface area, so it doesn't disperse heat very well either.
Right.
Because planes get hot when they're traveling fast. They both get hot and they both get cold. They get hot from the air friction, and then they get cold because usually they're higher up in atmosphere as well.
I wonder if those two will counteract each other.
Well, they do. They do help. Because obviously, if you're getting up fast enough and you start getting warm, but then you're high up in the altitude where it's cold, so the body of the fuselage is cooling down at the same time as heating up. So it sort of it helps. You got things like the U2 as well that flies so high. It's so cold that no matter how fast it travels, it doesn't really melt the ice off it. That's why when you see U2 land, it's just covered in ice.
Yeah.
Also, fun fact, planes, right? If rule of number thumb, when a plane from high altitude, like an airliner or a fighter jet or anything like that, when it lands, do not ever touch it. Not until it's earthed. So when a plane flies, it actually builds up a lot of friction while it's flying and generates a lot of static electricity. And I've heard stories This is like modern and late ones of people touching the plane before it was grounded and earthed. And I don't mean earth in the sense of like when it's on the ground. I mean like they actually put a piece
It's
of wire from it
yeah,
and
it's
attached to
it's
it. And
electro
yeah, they
it's
earth it.
electrically balanced with reference to Earth, to the literal ground.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally do earth it. Usually when they do the fuel lines and stuff like that, it's when they hook up the fuel line to it, it's got an earth in it, so it'll automatically earth it that way.
Yeah.
Because funnily enough, avgas isn't that flammable, which is
Right.
funny. It's flammable, but it's not flammable. Like if you put a match to it, it's not going to go up in flames. But the obviously what is flammable is the gas from it or the atomized fuel. But anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, people have died by touching planes that weren't Earth
Yeah,
after they
'cause
landed.
by the sounds of it, the plane turns into an enormous capacitor,
It pretty much does.
and
Yeah, it's designed to do
basically,
that.
yeah, the when you build up electricity and when you apply a voltage to a capacitor on its primary or secondary, depending whether it's polarized or not.
Yeah,
So let's just say it's an unpolarized capacitor, but we'll just call it primary. It's anode plate. It's primary plate. So when you apply a voltage and generate electricity, electrons flow into the primary plate but remain there until the capacitor is discharged. But as soon as the capacitor becomes discharged, you have all of that electricity just dump out of it, pretty much like a battery, but all of its energy is just depleted immediately, and all of that energy goes straight through you, which is why you die.
yeah.
Which is why a smallish capacitor can generate hundreds, if not thousands, of volts.
And speaking of electricity and modern technology, so this is pretty cool. The very first commercially produced item is being released with solid state power,
What's
which
that?
is this thing. So solid state batteries have been in the
Yeah.
works by several different companies
For a while.
for a while, but this is the first one that's actually publicly selling, and it's a power bank.
Right.
It's for camping.
I would genuinely. I think I might actually look into that because I want to get the
It's
solid
it's
state
so
battery.
fucking expensive. But anyway, essentially, the difference. So I used to think the difference between the solid state battery and a normal lithium battery is a solid state. I thought was just one big chunk of metal that is basically a battery, essentially like a solid lithium battery.
Right.
I was very misinformed. Basically, in a regular lithium battery, you have a divider between your anode and your
Dielectric.
your dielectric. Yeah, you have a dielectric. In most modern batteries, that is a semi-liquid type material. In a solid state system, it isn't. It's in its name. It's solid state. So I'll see if I can get a diagram up.
You have a cell. You have an electrolyte, and a dielectric, and that's basically the three main elements you need to make a battery.
Yeah.
At least a chemical battery. And
So that's a terrible diagram. Why is it whenever you want to find a diagram of something, you just can't ever find? Here's a good picture. Okay, this is how I visually got it explained to me. Oh my god, it's just never good. Open a new tab. Well, that's terrible. Why
So
can't we?
a sealed lead acid battery. You have two lead plates submerged in, I think it's sulfuric acid, or I can't remember. It might be the different type of acid. Anyway, so the battery acid, you have one bit of one block of that lead is oxidized, and the other side is not. And so what happens when you break down the lead oxide element, it basically creates free valence shells. Or when the lead and the oxygen break apart, there's free electrons, and those free electrons decide that they want to go over to the solid lead battery. So then, as they flow from the lead oxide element to the non to the solid lead element, that's how you generate electricity and create an electrical circuit, and everything else in between is just processing that electricity.
Yeah, so basically in a solid state battery, you instead of having a organic solvent liquid that separates the cathode and anode, it's a solid electrolyte that separates them.
Right.
And there's two benefits of it. One, you have a greater capacity of electrical storage. Two, it charges faster. And then three, it's more stable. So
I'm curious to know what the lifespan of these batteries are.
I don't know because they're new, so we won't know
Yeah,
until
that's
time
yeah.
shows. But they are more stable, so you can get like some real nastiness when it comes, especially lithium. Real nasty shit happening when the batteries go bad. So if I just search bad lithium,
Apparently, sodium. They're making sodium. Hang on, let me.
yeah, I don't know, but like this is a good example. See how this
Ion battery.
lithium
Oh no,
bag.
you can get sodium batteries.
See how this lithium bag in the phone's blown
Voltage
up
of
like
sodium
that.
batteries.
Lithiums are really bad. Like when they start swelling like this, that
That's
means
that's
throw
a
that away.
bad thing.
Yeah, get rid of
Yeah,
that.
that's a bad thing.
Because the reason
Right,
why
very.
the reason why we changed from lithium ion only to lithium phosphate, it's
Right.
like
What?
LiPho something or other, is because of this. Lithium ion, like lithium ion only, is incredibly unstable because lithium is an unstable element. And so they're very prone to exploding, which is why when the Note 3, when Samsung Galaxy brought out that Note,
I think it was a Samsung Galaxy S8. I think it was.
yeah, the one that was blowing up, that people were like, you're not allowed to enter a plane with that phone.
Yeah, I think it was the S8.
That was because of that. It used a lithium battery. It wasn't lithium phosphate. It was I think it's just lithium ion.
I'm looking at I'm looking at sodium batteries.
Yeah.
They're fucking cool, right? So your standard alkaline and your standard alkaline batteries are 1.5, or double A. Your standard double A lithium batteries are 1.2 volts.
Yeah.
Alkaline is 1.5 volts. Sodium is 3 volts, which is awesome because that's a lot of power.
That is, isn't it?
That is. It's literally double what we're used to.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the reason why solid states are going to be interesting, because it's going to double the length and the lifespan as well, which is always interesting.
The only downside to them is that they burn through their energy faster than lithium.
The sodiums.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the lithium batteries seem to last longer than the sodium batteries, but the sodium batteries just give off that much more voltage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's see, the technology's, the fact that it's like already coming out is just really good to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I like it when we progress.
I love batteries. I think batteries are awesome.
Yeah, batteries are pretty cool. I'm just going through right now because we're going to raid into someone today, but I'm just trying to find a person worthy of our raiding time. Twitch is full of people who I have no time for. It is... What has happened to this this streaming network. It is turned weird. Okay, I'm
It's
just gonna
always
find a
weird
normal.
every
Yeah, I know, but it's like super duper weird now. I'm just gonna pick someone who looks. I'm gonna go VTuber because everyone else I'm really not interested in. Okay, I reckon this person might be interesting. I have no idea who they are, but they're playing Minecraft.
Let's just go into them.
Yeah, let's try it. But anyway, thank you everybody for spending some time, taking your time out of the day and having a bit of a listen to this podcast. Bit of a short one, bit of a random one, bit of a nothing real structure as always to it. Bit of all over the shop, but always is. This is the point of Limited Basher podcast. It's not serious. It's just bunch of shit talking. And talking about tech, cars, life, anything really. But yeah, thank you again. Hope you have a good night and day, depending where you are in the world. And we'll catch you next time. See ya.
See ya.